what your country can do for you.
There's a left back. It's going to be, I believe, the goal from the Pirates.
Peppina, oh, you little mouse, so won't you go away?
One ringy-dingy.
Hand off to Griffin, cracks the middle, gets the 5. Touchdown, Ohio State.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
I'm interested to know, Gracie, who's your choice?
Need you ask, George?
Time now for spinning my dad's vinyl. Here with all his skips, scratches, and pops is my dad, Frank Vaccarello.
Thank you, sweetie, and thank you for tuning into episode 1 of Spinning My Dad's Vinyl. My family is full of football fans. We've been going to football games of all levels for decades. My dad was a huge Dixieland jazz fan. So we're going to combine the two to get this new podcast off to a rip-roaring start with Pee Wee Hunt and Dixieland Kickoff. The Notre Dame Victory March for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. That song has a lot of meaning to me. I played a lot of organized ball back in, high school, pre-high school days, and my grandfather always wanted me to go to the University of Notre Dame and play football there. Well, unfortunately, I was not good enough to play even into high school after an injury, so that dream went by the wayside. However, that song is the only college fight song that I know all the words to. In fact, I used to sing that song very, very slowly to my young daughter as a lullaby. So, also, why this album? Why did I choose this album for this episode of Spinning My Dad's Vinyl? Well, I'll tell you the truth. Again, it has a lot to do with the fight songs. It has a lot to do with us being college fans, especially Ohio State fans and Notre Dame fans back in the 1970s. And also, to tell you the truth, I probably played this album way more than my father ever did, because especially in the 1970s, if it was about football, I was into it. If it wasn't about football, I might have been into music. That was pretty much my two things back in the 1970s. So this album got worn out on my turntable anyways, not necessarily just my father's. So let's talk about the album itself. There are 12 songs on this album. 6 of them are from the Big Ten. Let's hear one of those now. Illinois Loyalty is the name of that fight song from the University of Illinois and the Fighting Illini. Okay, let's talk about the album itself. First of all, the name, Dixieland Kickoff. The artist is Pee Wee Hunt. We will talk more in detail about Pee Wee coming up. The album was released in 1959, and let me quickly tell you in order the songs that are on here and the universities they belong to. Illinois Loyalty for the University of Illinois, Notre Dame Victory March, As the Backs Go Tearing By, that's for Dartmouth College, The Victors, University of Michigan, the U of M Rouser for the University of Minnesota, and Ohio State University's Across the Field ends the first side of the album. On the second side, we have Down the Field from Yale University, Iowa Corn Song from the State University of Iowa, University of South California's Fight On for USC, Harvard University, Our Director, Princeton University's The Princeton Cannon Song, and the University of Wisconsin on Wisconsin. And actually, that is also a really, really good fight song that I've liked for a while. So let's talk about the condition and the market value. The condition of my dad's album cover is I'm going to call it fair. I go by the Discogs rating system and their description of what fair, poor, and good, and like the other ones are, and we'll talk about those. So I'm going to call this fair condition. You'll always notice my dad has a sticker, his address label sticker, usually on the front, which automatically takes the worth down of that. The album itself, let me take it off the turntable here real quick. The album itself I call poor condition. And that's because there are a lot of scratches on it. There is a lot of hiss to it. It could be in better condition, but again, it was released in 1959, and it's played a heck of a lot. It was played a heck of a lot, especially when I was young, back in my teenage years. So on Discogs, I found 6 of them for sale, and they averaged about $1.49. I found a couple on sale on eBay, anywhere from $4 to $12.50. Found one on sale from Amazon for $99.99. I don't think this seller knew what they have. And that is kind of what I'm going to go through each week, kind of the worth of the album, see what my dad's album condition is, and then we're going to do another Big Ten fight song here. The U of M Rouser for the Golden Gophers of the University of Minnesota. This is the part of the show where I will read the cover either in its entirety or a portion of it, depending on how long it is. This one for Kickoff is not very long, and it's very entertaining. So let's do it. Kickoff. The home team snags the ball, smashes its way back to midfield in a brilliant return, and loyal alumni rise and roar as the college band breaks into the old school fight song. Ah, what memorable moments. And here's all the high-spirited fun of a Saturday afternoon as the redoubtable Pee-wee and his team invade the nation's campuses and give the hunt two-beat treatment to a dozen of the country's rousinest collegiate fight songs. Pee-wee has picked these favorite tunes primarily for the musical zest, but they range across the country from the Ivy League to Southern Cal. And the happy thing is, his skedaddling style and march-down-the-field tempos will stir up those zippy game day get-togethers just as much, even if you're headed out to cheer for old Slippery Rock High. And if you're one of those people who think a split tee is a minor golfing catastrophe, you'll still find this the good time album of any season. So whether the agenda calls for dancing, cheering yourself hoarse in the crackling outdoor air, or just listening, let's break up the huddle, put the record on, and get a real ball rolling. 45, 78, 33, hike! That was pretty entertaining. So 4 of the songs on this album are from the Ivy League. Let's check one out now. our director for the Harvard Crimson. Now we're going to learn a little about the artist. Walter Gerhard Pee Wee Hunt was born May 10th, 1907, and died June 22nd, 1979. He was an American jazz trombonist, vocalist, and bandleader. He was born in Mount Healthy, Ohio. He developed a musical interest at an early age as his mother Sadie played the banjo and his father Edgar played violin. He had a younger sister Marion and a younger brother Raymond. The teenage Hunt was a banjoist with a local band while he was attending college at Ohio State University, where he majored in electrical engineering, and during his college years he switched from banjo to trombone. He graduated from the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, where he joined Gene Goldkett's orchestra in 1928. Pee Wee Hunt was the co-founder and featured trombonist with the Casa Loma Orchestra, but he left the group in 1943 to work as a Hollywood radio disc jockey before joining the Merchant Marine near the end of World War II. He returned to the West Coast music scene in 1946. His 12th Street Rag was a $3 million selling #1 hit in September of 1948. Pee Wee Hunt died after a long illness at age 72 in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Hunt and his wife Ruth had a daughter Holly and a son Lawrence. Plymouth, while an Ivy League team, wasn't included on this album, but Yale, Harvard's #1 rival, was. The Yale Bulldogs get cheered on by their fight song, Down the Field. Okay, now with this album, there's a nice little interesting side note about the illustrator, whose name is Frank Page. According to Discogs, he illustrated the covers for 78 albums, ranging from Louis Prima to Pat Boone, Red Fox, and Shostakovich. And I know my dad has several of those albums on the list, so we're going to keep an eye open for more artwork by Frank Page. Okay, I've got to do it. There are only 2 songs left in today's show, and first one's going to be from that team up north. If that gives you any idea where I'm sitting right now. the victors for the University of Michigan Wolverines. See, I can say it. Well, this has been a blast. This first episode, really looking forward to many more. I really enjoyed picking this album as my first one. Not only a very appropriate title name, but really, really good music. Kind of what you're going to hear, the festiveness of the music that my dad liked, and his collection. You're going to find a lot of Dixieland jazz as we go through the weeks. But not only that, this one had so much meaning for me as well, since, like I said, I played this even more than my dad did. So it was an absolute pleasure to start this podcast with this album specifically. And now for the only college on this album that Pee Wee actually went to. Can I get an OH? And for the Ohio State University Buckeyes, it's Across the Field. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to episode 1 of Spinning My Dad's Vinyl, however you did it. If you want more information, head over to spinningmydadsvinyl.com. I'll be back next week with all my skips, scratches, and pops with Volume 2, the Glenn Miller Collection, Part 1. And as I used to say on my daily radio show, go with the flow, my friends.